Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I am Mitch English. You know, you may have been following the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial and wondered how two people who were once, well, happily and in love could quickly fall into a pattern of violence. Well, our next guest, Dr. FRIEDA BIRNBAUM, is a psychoanalytic therapist and a research psychologist. She's also here today to tell us how we can see how happy marriages or just relationships can turn sour pretty quick. So it's pretty important for all of us to get this information. Dr. Birnbaum, thank you so much for joining us on this show. You know, it is sad. It's sad to see that because at one time there was this love, there was this great feeling, the euphoric feeling. I'm sure a lot of us out there watching or even in this room have gone through it. But what's the most likely root cause of a toxic relationship? Things go from so good to so bad.
You know, I hate to say this. There are so many reasons. After 30 years of being in practice and speaking around the country, I can tell you the number one issue, and that is do not try to change that person.
Oh, God bless you.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, God
That's
bless
the
you.
one problem for sure.
Well, we think, yeah, because we see all these things in a person. You're like, you know, they'd be great if they just change this, that, or another. And I imagine it comes down to just accepting people for who we are. That's what I got from that message that you just said. But we were all raised differently, different socio-economic situations, different dichotomies of relationships. How does that kind of play into abusive relationships? Maybe somebody's upbringing. How does that come into the next relationship they're in?
That's so interesting because, guess what? We marry our parents. Just think about it. All the things you couldn't do when you were a child, you pick someone similar, and then you try to undo it as an adult. And that's where the problems begin.
Is that human nature, or is it something that a control issue?
It's something we do with unconscious levels. We're not aware of it. We find something that's familiar and comfortable, even though it's dysfunctional. And we go right into that place of being abused or being the abuser and trying to work it through.
You know, let me ask you about gaslighting. We hear about this a lot of times in toxic relationships. Gaslighting meaning like you're making the other person feel guilty when it's actually you. How much of a relationship is it driven by the person that has the problem? Or I imagine both people have problems, but are you searching for those things? Like, well, this person is a liar because I lie every once in a while. Does that play into it? Am I making any sense?
Yes, absolutely. We pick people often. Some are controlling. They feel inferior. They want to squash you down. It's their intention, a weak link. So we have to be careful of somebody that is comfortable at our expense. Because in reality, what really does happen is you become dependent. And
Yeah.
especially women, they're complimented by that. They feel the person's jealous of them.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. The difference between men and women. Obviously, there's emotions that play into it, whereas men maybe work more off logic and that sort of thing. But how do we detect that maybe we're in a toxic relationship? Obviously, we're throwing coffee cups at each other is one thing, but it didn't start that way.
No, it didn't start that way. But when that person makes you feel less
Okay.
than who you are, and you have to look to that person for all your needs, then you know you're stuck and you're not yourself any longer.
And then how do you borderline that from somebody you want to actually make you a better person? You hear that a lot. Like you say, well, I know this person's going to make me a better person. But then we also say, well, you shouldn't change for anybody. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how do you know the difference of that you're doing it for you or for them?
Well, that's so important. We need to know what to look for. Number one, be friends. That is something that helps you to know who you're with. Don't get intimate first. And
Okay.
then you can step back and look at the family. What is the family like? Are they people who are divorced, supportive? What about the friends? Are the friends people who are positive about this person? And most of all, you have to be healthy in order to meet somebody healthy. somebody who adds to who you are already,
Okay.
not somebody who fills a void inside you.
Okay, I can appreciate that. I still I still think though relationships are like puzzle pieces. You wind up meeting together, and so that would be a little
Yes.
miscued of like saying, well, I do need this, but it has to be for something for me. I guess is what you're saying. It's what I'm getting from you at least. Let's say if we
Yeah.
have a friend that we see is obviously in a toxic relationship. They're always fighting back and forth. And you don't want to move in and mess up something that they might be love. How do you help them?
To help them, you have to help them to leave. I hate to say this. They cannot stay. Nothing will change unless the other person wants to work on it. Help them to leave, help them to look at their own future, where to go, and then help them to wait till they find a new
Oh,
relationship.
okay. So don't take them out of that one. Wait until they say, encourage them to say, hey, look, and a lot of times that relationship might be with themselves, I would imagine, right? They got to get to know who they are if they expect somebody to try to figure out
Yes,
them, right?
absolutely. You have to be healthy first.
All right.
You have to know what that feels like.
There's a lot of people that are out there, they want to, that help. What do you think that you're with somebody who thinks they're actually in a toxic relationship and they feel like, well, listen, I have nowhere to turn at all. I can't leave this person at all.
There's so many places, mental health clinics, therapists that will take you, talk to you, and guide you in the right direction. Absolutely take advantage of that.
I agree. Sometimes I think when you go to your friends, which is good to have, they're looking out for your best interest and they might not give you the unbiased words that you
No.
actually need. So a counselor, someone like yourself, anybody, just to talk about it, I imagine helps out tremendously. If folks want to find out more information about this, and of course your book as well, where can they go to get more information?
Well, I have a site, drfrieda.com. I've written several books, Dr. Frieda. My Gmail, if you want to contact me, Dr. DOCTOR,
Okay.
FRIEDA
All right,
at
fantastic. And the
Gmail.
website is right there on our website, on
Yes.
our screen. We'll have this on our website as well. Thank you, Dr. Birnbaum. We really appreciate it. More Flash after this.